Hello everyone, welcome to Eightfold IAS Academy. This is Saideshwar Rao, Faculty in History and Current Affairs. We have launched new current affairs series which mainly focuses on the UPSC prelims and mains. Here we will take up the most relevant topics for the UPSC and they will be holistically dealt for the prelims and mains, and the topics which were discussed here, the information that can be used to form opinions even for your interviews. So let's start our new current affairs series with the quadrilateral security dialogue. This is what we call quadrilateral security dialogue, is also called as Quad. Within this Quad, United States of America, Japan, Australia and India are the members of this Quad. Why should we discuss right now? Because on March 12, 2021, this quadrilateral security dialogue virtual meeting was happened among the heads of this Quad. And is it really relevant for the UPSC or not? Undoubtedly, Quad is the most important topic which was already asked in UPSC mains paper 1 in 2020, and this is more focused on China and assertiveness of China. So definitely our UPSC pick up the issues which are more emphasis on the China. So definitely it's the most important topic for UPSC. Before discussing about the Quad meeting and its promising results, I would like to discuss origin of the Quad. In 2004, the seeds of the Quad was sown. In 2004, Indian Ocean was badly affected. Indian Ocean was badly affected by tsunami. When Indian Ocean was badly affected by tsunami in 2004, Japan, United States of America, Australia and Indian navies come together and they have participated in the disaster relief measures. And with this, the origin of the Quad has been started in 2007. In 2007, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe first time proposed Quad among India, Australia, Japan and United States of America, and they wanted their unified effort in this Indo-Pacific region. Then what is the importance of the Indo-Pacific region? Indo-Pacific region is a combination of Indian Ocean and western and central parts of the Pacific Ocean. They have chosen Indo-Pacific as their strategic theater. What are the reasons to choose this Indo-Pacific region? The first and foremost important point is 50% of the global population lives in this Indo-Pacific region. Not only that, this 50% of the global population provides huge market for the goods and services manufactured across the globe. And in addition to that, 2/3 of global trade is happening within these countries. As we all know that for the last 3 and 4 decades, the growth of the globe, growth pole of globe has been shifted from western countries or western Europe towards the Southeast Asian countries. We can precisely say Indo-Pacific region. So the changing global growth pole has attracted much attention towards the Indo-Pacific region. And as we all know that in this Indo-Pacific region, the most important countries like China, India, Japan, Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and some Southeast Asian tigers like Philippines, Vietnam, all these countries were there. Their strategic interests were also there. When their interests were there, Chinese assertiveness and Chinese peaceful strategy rise strategy of China has been skillfully implemented, and China started showing its hydra and vulgar head and started assertiveness in this Indo-Pacific region. That's why these Quad countries in 2007 they have chosen Indo-Pacific region as their strategic area. That is the importance of Indo-Pacific region. Though principally they agreed to form the Quad in 2007, but it has taken almost 1 decade to give a proper shape for the Quad. Why there is a so much delay for the Quad? There are every country in the Quad has their own concerns, have their own challenges. That's why they could not focus to give shape to the Quad. First of all, look at the United States of America. In 2007, we all know that United States of America was under the 2008 economic crisis. Now, by the time it focused on its economy, so that's why it was completely engaged to fortify its economy and to once again increase its growth, its GDP. That's why it could not focus to form a strategic grouping. And one more point we have to highlight with regard to the United States of America is that United States of America launched war on terror to eliminate the terrorism in Afghanistan. So it is deeply engaged in the Afghanistan. It has focused much in Middle East. So that's why it could not focus more on the Indo-Pacific region. And next case with the Japan. In the case of Japan, we all know that China and Japan were traditional rivals. Both have their own bitter experiences in World War II time. So at the present time in 2007, by the time of 2007, Japanese manufacturers or Japanese multinational companies have already invested and deeply participated in the Chinese economy. So if Japan had taken any strategic decision which is against to the China, that would have affected the Japanese manufacturing companies. That's why Japan was also not enthusiastic by that time. Next, in the case of Australia, we all know that Australia was in the Pacific Ocean region. It is situated in the Pacific Ocean region, but it is heavily dependent on the Chinese economy. The raw materials what are there in the Australia, they are exported to feed for the Chinese manufacturing hub. So it is entangled with the Chinese economy. That's why it could not take a decision which is more or less against to the Chinese interests. Next, in the case of India, within this grouping, India is the only country which shares direct land border with the China. This is one of the first concern. Not only we are sharing land border, we have already border conflicts in our LAC, line of actual control, and we have some river disputes across Brahmaputra river. As like as Australia and Japan, we have also heavily dependent on the Chinese cheap goods. That's why India was also not that much enthusiastic to participate and to give a formal shape to the Quad. But here we have to remember one more thing. By 2008, when entire world was gripped in the 2008 economic crisis, India was also focused on its economic growth, and it started fortifying its economic walls to protect itself from the economic crisis. And it has focused on infrastructure, it has focused on the manufacturing, and it wants to improve its economic and military power. So that's why India could not participate. So like that, United States of America, Japan, Australia and India both have principally agreed to form Quad in 2007, but they could not form an active Quad. Fine, we can understand various concerns of United States of America, Japan, Australia and India in 2007 to give a formal shape to the Quad. But why and what are the factors that compelled all these members to make a proactive Quad 2.0 in 2017 and till 2020? We have all seen that the Chinese assertiveness in the Indian Ocean and South China Sea and Pacific Ocean has been increasing day by day. The China, once it has implemented clearly its peaceful rise of Chinese strategy, and once it builds up its manufacturing hub, when it make the entire world is dependent upon the Chinese cheap goods, now it is claiming more territories within the South China Sea, and it is claiming Senkaku Islands, which are between the China and Japan. Not only the Senkaku Islands, it is having a kind of border disputes with the Philippines. It is claiming more islands in the South China Sea. So, not only this is all shows the Chinese assertiveness in the South China Sea, which connects the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. Moreover, China is also tried to build up artificial islands within South China Sea. This move was quashed by the international justice. When China started constructing artificial islands in South China Sea, International Court in The Hague, it quashed the Chinese moves, and this judgment which was against the China. Even then, China did not respect the international court's orders, and even its presence is increasing day by day in the Indian Ocean. It is moving closely with the Sri Lanka and moving its submarines, which is very close to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which threatens the strategic interests of the India. And not only that, it is increasing its territorial claims with respect to the India also. This is how Chinese assertiveness has been increasing in this period. This is the prime factor to make a proactive Quad in this region. And why United States of America once again come back and made it as a proactive Quad? Because United States of America already it was out of the 2008 economic crisis, and finally its economy was on backtrack, and already United States of America agreed to withdraw its forces from Afghanistan by May 1st, 2021. And one more important development that has done in United States of America is that once the Trump lost the power, Biden came into power, he stated that once again United States of America wants to play a proactive role in the global and regional politics. This is one important aspect of the United States of America. And with respect to the Japan, as already I told you that by 2007 there is a huge presence of the Japanese companies in the Chinese manufacturing hubs. Within these 13 years, most of the Japanese MNCs started moving towards the other parts of the globe. And one more important concern of the Japan is that Japanese economy was heavily dependent on the oil imports which are from the Middle East. These oil imports have to move through the Indian Ocean and they have to enter into South China Sea. All the way it has to ship to the Japan. Here the Chinese territorial claims have been increasing day by day. Its presence is increasing. If China let it go, it may stop the oil imports and it may choke down the Japanese economy. So those are the concerns of the Japan. Australia. And next, in the case of Australia, as I told you that Australia is heavily dependent on the Chinese economy by exporting its raw materials. Within this period, Australia was also realized the threat of China and it evenly spreaded its network of exports to the other countries. And the next case is with the India. India is not as we have seen India in 2007. In 2021, India has been changed a lot. Even though all the countries have been badly affected by the economic crisis in 2008, somehow India could maintain around 5 to 7% of the economic growth annually. This shows the economic strength of India. With respect to the purchasing power parity, India has all upped and India's military power was also increased. In all aspects, more or less India has been better than as India in the 2007. Moreover, the threats from the Chinese side has been increasing day by day and that can be seen in the Ladakh and Doklam border disputes with the China. Somehow we need to stop the Chinese assertiveness. That's why we actively participated in the Quad 2.0. Fine. Already we have discussed that on March 21st, on March 12th, 2021, Quad virtual meeting was happened. In this Quad virtual meeting, all the members have accepted for the free, open, inclusive and healthy Indo-Pacific region. All are them accepted for this. Free means within the Indo-Pacific region anyone can enter, and within the Indo-Pacific region and it is open for every other member without any coercion. They can come and have a kind of international trade. And inclusive means here within the Indo-Pacific region there are countries which are bigger, there are countries which are very smaller. Even though they are militarily and economically they are very small in size, everyone's rights can be respected and everyone's rights can be protected within this Indo-Pacific region. That kind of Indo-Pacific region was envisioned by all these members. Fine. And within this virtual meet there are some actions they have taken. The first thing is all the members have initiated for the vaccine initiative. Under this vaccine initiative, by 2024 all the countries agreed to distribute 1 billion corona vaccine to the Southeast Asian countries. Along with this, they have appointed joint working group on climate change and joint working group on critical technologies and joint working group on finance, on technology transfer, which is very much useful for the climate change. And within this vaccine initiative, it is really commendable that these vaccines which are going to be distributed by 2024, those vaccines can be prepared by India with the United States of America's technology, with the funding of Japan, and it can be distributed by the network of Australia. This is how they have come together to save the Southeast Asian poor countries from the coronavirus. Till now, we have discussed how Quad helps United States of America, how it helps Japan and Australia and India. Now we will discuss how it will be a force of global, or more particularly a South Asian good. We will discuss it. As I said you, Chinese assertiveness has been increasing day by day, even it is violating the international law. So the small countries like Philippines and Vietnam can get the support of Quad. So the rule of order within Indo-Pacific region can be effectively implements if Quad will come into force. Not only that, these countries all are facing certain kinds of problems with respect to health, with respect to manufacturing, with respect to infrastructure. As I said you, the joint working groups initiated in this meeting, this will help to build the economies of the Southeast Asian countries. If these Quad countries involved in the strengthening of the Southeast Asian countries' economies, then it will fosters the sustainable development goals. Then poverty in the globe can be reduced, and water, health, education, infrastructure and urban habitats, livable habitats can all be provided if Quad will actively participate for the socio-economic development of Southeast Asian countries. And if Quad aimed for the socio-economic development of these countries, then Southeast Asian countries will give their moral and political support to the Quad, and the strength of the Quad will be hugely increased. These are the benefits of the Quad. Fine. Till now, we have discussed about the origin of Quad and its evolution, and what are the benefits if India joins in the Quad. Now we discuss what are the challenges or concerns of India if it joins in the Quad. Already we know that India's foreign policy is basing on the NAM, non-aligned movement. According to this non-aligned movement, India principally agreed not to join in any military bloc which may triggers the world war. If India ignores this principle and joins in the Quad, the Indo-Pacific region will become the war theater once again in this 21st century. That should not be that should be avoidable. And one more concern of the India is that India is the only country in the Quad that shares direct land border with China. All the other countries may not, they are not one more concern of India is that India is the only country which shares direct land border with the China. Direct land border with the China. One more point here is that India is the only country within the Quad which is non-NATO country. Non-NATO country. One more unique feature of the India is that if India joins in the Quad, it has to balance its membership in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and BRICS, where China is the active member. These countries may oppose the India's dual role in the Quad. Now, let me explain the significance of Quad for India and how Quad will help India to realize its strategic interests in this Indo-Pacific region. First and foremost thing is that we have already witnessed the Chinese assertiveness and we had bad experiences with the China across LAC. Recently, we had a kind of border conflict at Doklam and Ladakh regions. Here, in order to counter China, in order to face China effectively, we need a kind of strategic allies which can come at our rescue if any war comes. So, here if we actively participate in the Quad, Japan, United States of America and Australia may act as a counterweight to the China. That is one of the important advantage that we get if we join in the Quad. The second important thing is that already India emphasized more on the neighborhood first policy. Under this neighborhood first policy, we want to make a deep bonding with the Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Pakistan. When we want to make close bonds or close relationship with these our neighbors, China started string of perils theory, string of perils strategy. Under this string of perils strategy, it wants to align with the Pakistan and Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, and somehow it makes distanced away these our neighbors from India. By doing this string of perils theory, it wants to destabilize within its neighborhood. This is one of the prime concern of India. And next one is that if we join in the Quad and how it will helpful for us. Already we have initiated Look East policy, and when Modi government came into power, that made as a Act East policy. Under this Act East policy, we want to deepen our relationship with the all Southeast Asian countries. They are Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar and all these countries. For example, if we want to make a kind of deeper bonds, we need to take up some projects. We need to give some line of credit. We have to take up some infrastructure projects which are helpful for their economies. Then only we can make deeper bonding with these countries. But as we all know that India, though it is an economic power, but we are not able to provide line of credits these countries. We are not able to funding the infrastructure projects in these countries. This has been taken as an opportunity by the China, and it has initiated one belt one road policy. Under this one belt one road strategy, it wants to build infrastructure like ports, railway lines and road lines in all these countries. Somehow China increasingly improves its footprint in these regions. So in order to counter this OBOR policy of the China, we need strong support from the Japan, United States of America and Australia. Then collectively with these countries, we will take up some infrastructure and social projects to build these countries. This is one of the important aspect of our important advantage we get if we join the Quad. One more important advantage we get if we join in the Quad is that already India has shown its prowess in vaccine preparation, and our pharmaceutical industry was acclaimed across the world. Now Japan, United States of America, they are all interested to invest in our country. And moreover, the recent meeting has appointed joint working group on critical technologies like 5G, artificial intelligence and robotics, data analytics and all these things. And these critical technologies in India can be developed with the help of these Quad members. Along with that, joint working group has also appointed on climate change and financing. This will help India to reduce its carbon footprint in its economy and to fight against the climate change. These are the benefits India will get if it joins in the Quad and if it actively participates in the Quad. Not only that, as we have strength in the Indian Ocean, I have already told you that Chinese presence is increasing day by day in the Indian Ocean. So this can be countered and India can effectively monitor the Indian Ocean if it gets cooperation from the Japan, Australia and United States of America, and India's base within the Indian Ocean can be improved, and the trade and maritime navigation lines which passes through the Indian Ocean, those can be effectively guarded if we join effectively, if we actively participates in the Quad. These are the advantages India will get if India joins in the Quad. Fine. By evaluating the advantages and concerns, challenges of the India with respect to whether to join in the Quad or not, we could suggest that India should join in the Quad and it should finally balance its membership in the SCO and BRICS. Wherever it aligns or with whom it aligns, it has to protect its strategic autonomy and issue based alliances need to be taken up. Thank you very much.